A game changer to me is somebody that is striving to reach their full potential and firmly believes in their heart in creating access for other people to reach their full potential. So you don't have to be a member of the NAACP to be a game changer. We happen to be NAACP members who subscribe to the mission of the NAACP that are game changers.
When people hear the NAACP, they think, okay, in order for you to be involved, you got to be 50 and older. You know, we're all 40 and under. You know, so we do want people to know that there's a place, you know, for everyone, even the youth. There's a place within this organization for them to get involved.
A lot of folks don't understand that the power of the NAACP, right? Just the name in and of itself. We get access, we've all talked about it throughout this conversation, we get access to a lot of really important high-powered figures simply because we can now say, hey, I'm part of the NAACP. And it's not your mama's NAACP, it's the new generation, it's what we are. And we're kind of, we're teaching them something new, and it gives us a relevancy when we talk to folks our age and our age bracket and we say, hey, we understand where we came from, now let's show you where we're going.
There's situations that have to be addressed no matter who's running the country. It's more on who are you as an individual about yourself. Are you running your immediate area? Are you taking care of your neighbor? Are you seeing there's an issue over there and are you just turning a blind eye to it? Or are you saying, you know what, that's something that's angering me, so that's a clue to something I should go try to fix. It's a part of our assignment. And when people begin to see that, it's like, you know what, I can take responsibility for the situations that are going on in my community, whether it's historically a situation or just present.
I'm just not satisfied yet. That's just what it comes down to. I'm not satisfied that African Americans are still more likely to be infected with the AIDS virus, more likely to live in communities that are environmentally hazardous. They're more likely to be unemployed. They're more likely to be incarcerated. Now, get this. We talk about accountability before we get into anything. We want to get people out of survival mode into striving mode. So we talk all the time about giving people the access and the resources to strive to be the best they can be, to play the hand that they're given. The deck, you know, you got a bad hand of cards, okay, let's work with it. And let's see what we can do to give you a better card to play. That's what we stand for. No excuses. We're going to work with you. That's on the end of the motivating and teaching people to strive.
The school districts within the areas that we serve, they do have books, okay? So it's not necessarily a shortage of books, but there's a shortage of teachers that look like other minorities, you know? So in terms of the equivalency of minority students to the number of minority teachers, there is a huge disparity. So we are talking to the school district saying, hey, what are you doing to hire more minority teachers and also provide minority programming?
Every NAACP chapter has an opportunity to serve its local community. But what we have to do that's different, because we do have books, we have schools with, you know, good curriculums and all that, we have to keep our kids out of the special ed room and knowing how to get into the high performance room.
One of the things that came out of the conversation is that we don't have enough programming to get students involved in career advancement opportunities. So we started the So You Think You Want To series, where bi-monthly we have a program dedicated to various career genres. So You Think You Want a Career in Education, where we actually had those same superintendents that we're sitting down at the table talking to about these various issues come and talk about what does it mean to be a teacher? How do you go about doing that?
But then there's this other ugly side of it where racism and discrimination still exists. And we're charged as the NAACP not to ignore that. We're charged to bring that to the light and force that to be a conversation on the table.
You know, we mean what we say in terms of we want to close this educational gap. We want to find out what the issues are in terms of truancy and why, for example, minorities are 5% of the population, but 74 to 80% of the suspensions. We want to find out what's going on, and we're building the programs and having a conversation to be able to do that.
That's the meat and the grit of it. Is that we've all felt that pain. We have those scars of growing up in these types of suburban communities, or knowing what it's like to be in situations where you're you just know it's not right. And, you know, that I think right there unites us in a way. Some folks won't admit that, right? They won't admit that they have experienced that. They either don't have a trained eye to see it, or they just may not have thought about it. But there comes a time in every person's journey where it becomes a reality, and that's typically when they call the NAACP.
Right.
So what we aim to do is to help be proactive, to get people aware to get involved before they get that phone call, so that we can equip them and empower them on how to handle it.
Perception is that when you go to a NAACP event, all you're gonna see is a whole bunch of angry black folks yelling about something just because they black and they angry, right? I mean, that's the perception. The reality is that's not what we're here for. We're here to reach folks who just don't have the opportunities that they're looking for, whether you're, whatever the case may be, no matter the nationality, ethnic creed, sexual orientation. We're actually out there trying to advocate on your behalf to ensure that you get the same type of access that we're all afforded to.
It's not easy, you know, as we sit here as volunteers, we sacrifice a lot of time, a lot of effort, and we get really worked up about this because it's important to us. But if we don't do it,
Right.
who will?
Right.
And that's why we represent as the game changers. And that's why we wear that label, if you will. Is because here we are, 40-something and under, and we fill in a major gap. It's a gap of some decades, right? But if we don't do this, these high schoolers, these college kids that's coming up now that are so talented, we got to give them the mindset and the tools and the resources. And since we still have this trust and belief from these legacy members that are believing in us, we want to get that knowledge and be able to translate it down to the next generation. And that's our charge.
Absolutely.
That's what we have to do.
Okay, that's good to end on, but I did want to ask what you guys all believe a game changer is. Do you want me to continue with that?
What's that?